I've been around long enough to understand that history doesn't announce itself politely. Some days feel routine, others are loud but temporary, and then there are the days that quietly redraw the map of the future. February 28th, 2026 may well be one of those days. And the truth is, many Americans are only beginning to grasp the scale of what unfolded and what it could mean in the weeks, months, and even years ahead. Like many of you, I woke up to a statement from Donald Trump declaring that Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, had been killed in a joint U.S.-Israeli military operation called Operation Epic Fury. He described Khamenei as one of the most evil figures in history. That's how he framed it. Now, I've sat behind the Resolute desk. I've been the one who had to authorize force. I know what it feels like when the full weight of American military power rests on your shoulders. In that moment, you're not just making a tactical call. You are deciding what kind of leader you will be and what kind of nation you want America to remain. So let's walk through this carefully, not emotionally, not politically, but thoughtfully, because this is not simply about a single leader in Tehran. This is about constitutional authority. It's about America's credibility abroad. It's about our alliances. It's about the young men and women in uniform tonight, stationed at the 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain as missiles light up the sky. This moment didn't materialize overnight. Iran's nuclear program has been a source of global tension for decades. During my presidency, we worked alongside allies to build a diplomatic framework that eventually became the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. That agreement placed inspectors inside Iran's facilities, limited enrichment, and created transparency mechanisms. It was imperfect, yes, but it imposed constraints. In 2018, President Trump withdrew from that deal during his first term. His argument was that it wasn't strong enough. Many Americans shared concerns about Iran's regional behavior, but when you dismantle an agreement without constructing something more durable in its place, the void can invite escalation rather than stability. Fast forward to the present, negotiations collapsed, tensions escalated. Last June, President Trump declared that Iran's nuclear infrastructure had been completely and totally obliterated. If that were accurate, it raises a fundamental question. Why, 9 months later, was a major military campaign necessary? At 1:15 a.m. Eastern Time, coordinated strikes targeted Iranian Revolutionary Guard facilities, air defense systems, missile launch sites, and command centers. The Pentagon confirmed that one-way attack drones were used in combat for the first time at scale. This was not symbolic deterrence. It was an expansive strategic assault. And here's what history teaches us. When diplomacy fails, or when faith in diplomacy erodes, military options begin to dominate the conversation. That is often the point where unintended consequences begin to multiply. President Trump publicly declared Khamenei dead before Iranian confirmation. Iranian officials insist he is alive. Intelligence sources suggest strikes did hit key leadership compounds. In war, clarity is often the first casualty, but accuracy matters deeply in moments like this. Iran responded within hours. Missiles and drones targeted U.S. installations in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and Jordan. Casualties have been reported. The Gulf region, home to American bases and critical global energy routes, is now on high alert. Escalation is rarely linear. Once the cycle of retaliation begins, it develops its own momentum. Let me speak personally. In 1998, I authorized Operation Desert Fox against Saddam Hussein's regime. I approved targeted strikes against al-Qaeda facilities after embassy bombings. I supported NATO's intervention in Kosovo to halt ethnic cleansing. Those decisions weighed heavily. They involved extended consultations with national security advisors, congressional leaders, and legal experts, not because process slows strength, but because process legitimizes it. War is not just a military action, it is a constitutional act. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 exists to prevent one individual from unilaterally committing the nation to prolonged conflict. Lawmakers across the spectrum, including Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, have raised concerns about authorization. Others question the strategic consistency between last year's claims and this week's actions. These are not partisan criticisms, they are structural ones. Briefings are not equivalent to authorization. Notification is not consultation. The strength of American democracy lies in shared responsibility between branches of government. Beyond our borders, the world is recalibrating. Russia has condemned the strikes. European allies are urging restraint. Gulf nations hosting U.S. forces are calculating the risks of deeper involvement. The United Nations Security Council has convened. Oil markets have reacted sharply, something American families will feel in energy prices and supply chains. Power exercised without broad legitimacy can weaken alliances over time. I learned during my presidency that coalitions, though sometimes frustratingly slow, provide durability. When partners feel heard, they stand longer. When they feel sidelined, cooperation erodes. Now let's consider the possible paths forward. One possibility is fragmentation within Iran. If senior leadership has been eliminated, competing factions, the Revolutionary Guard, clerical establishments, political technocrats may vie for control. Iran is not just a country with oil, it is a country with advanced missile technology, nuclear expertise, and regional proxy networks. Instability in such an environment can be combustible. Another possibility is consolidation. The regime could unify under a narrative of external aggression. Nationalism can harden positions. Proxy groups from Lebanon to Yemen could intensify operations. That scenario risks transforming a bilateral confrontation into a broader regional war. A third path, one we must hope for, involves de-escalation, quiet diplomacy, back-channel communications, strategic restraint. These efforts rarely trend on social media. They rarely produce dramatic headlines, but they save lives. Military action can destroy facilities. It cannot by itself construct political order. I want to be clear. Iran's leadership has been repressive. Its treatment of protesters, journalists, and women has drawn global condemnation. Its nuclear ambitions have concerned the international community for years. American service members executed their orders with professionalism and courage. But greatness as a nation is measured not only by our ability to eliminate threats, it is measured by whether our actions leave the world more stable or more volatile. Tonight, American sailors in Bahrain are standing watch under threat. They serve regardless of politics. They deserve leaders who treat decisions of war with solemnity. The Iranian people deserve agency. The courage shown during the 2022 protests, especially by women demanding dignity, was powerful. But sustainable freedom cannot be airdropped. It must be cultivated internally. This is a moment that demands seriousness from all of us. Congress must assert its constitutional role. The administration must articulate a comprehensive plan, not just objectives for the next 48 hours, but a strategy for the next 48 months. Allies must be engaged in meaningful consultation, and citizens must remain attentive. Democracy is not passive. It requires vigilance, especially when the stakes involve war. America has faced defining crossroads before. We have made mistakes. We have recalibrated. And what has always distinguished us is not perfection, but accountability. The authority of the presidency is immense, but the ultimate sovereignty of this republic rests with its people. May we engage wisely, may we demand clarity, and may we ensure that when America acts, it does so not only with strength, but with foresight, restraint, and constitutional fidelity.